now, to break down that TSM win, let's check in with the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Lots to talk about there. First and foremost, Loco has converted to a TSM fan. No, TSM going to be very, very happy with that. And as we mentioned, Doublelift, they got their first win. They got the win that they needed. Maybe Immortals will be on tilt. Let's start from the beginning. Champion Select here, because we saw immensely different priority in Champion Select in this series compared to yesterday's series. You know, particularly the Corki coming out first pick, and then Echo nowhere to be seen.
So I think Echo is a really, really strong pick in the meta, but if you're going to play Echo, your jungler needs to have a lot of CC. And for TSM side, it seems like they like to carry junglers on spin. He had really good Kindred performances versus C9, or actually not versus C9, my bad. He had Kindred performances during the regular season, and his Graves looked pretty good today. So it seems like they like carry junglers, so it's hard to play carry jungle and Echo. And for Immortals, it seems like they like Lucian over Echo. So yeah, like Echo's nowhere to be found.
Right. Did you ever think you'd say that a team liked Lucian in the top lane as their priority, Zyrene?
Didn't think I would.
No, you didn't.
I've seen crazier things. I mean, Karma's now a mid laner, and people are playing her again, so it just kind of shot up there. But I want to talk about the draft a little bit more, because I think TSM saw this coming. They picked Braum very early on. They picked the Maokai. They picked Maokai over the Echo because, one, you have that point-and-click CC. It's very disruptive. And also, it's a Frozen Heart builder, very smooth path, whereas Echo, you really want to get the Iceborne Gauntlet for the damage output. So I thought that this was a pick that was really just going to round this composition out and really counter what Immortals were coming into the game with. It's an early spike team. You take towers. We saw them get a 7K gold lead on Immortals' side, but then it was that fight in the top lane where they just ruined their own lead because of the fact they tried to dive Hanser. They got a little over aggressive, and I think at that point maybe even just buy an Executioner's Calling early on to deal with Hanser, and we didn't even see one come out the entire game.
Yeah, we heard the casters talking about it, the fact that both 2 of the 3 AD carries went for Lord Dominic's as opposed to Immortal Reminder, so there was no opportunity to nerf the healing from the Maokai. But given the fact that Immortals locked in this triple ADC composition, let's talk about some of the merits of the composition and how it should be played and how it comes away with a victory. Because clearly, if you're going to pull it out in game 1 of a series, you're confident in that strategy.
So AD carries are really strong laners, so something like Corki is going to have a lot of priority mid, and even Lucian, he's going to have a lot of priority top. And you get gold leads by taking turrets early, and you either win with that, or if you go late enough into the game, like we saw, you don't have a great comp because you're missing a tank, you're missing a lot of utility, you're also missing teleport from your mid laner usually, so you lose out to the more standard comps of tank in the top, mid bringing a lot of utility.
TSM on your screens now going to be happy after the game, but they dealt with that triple ADC comp. They were down about 8K gold at 25 minutes, and yet were able to stretch it just far enough, Zyrene, that they could come back from that gold deficit and run their tank line into the triple ADC composition.
Yeah, I think they had a great draft. I think they were able to keep their heads cool. They lost an inhibitor turret, but they were able to get that engage that they wanted, and they knew that it came down to that, right? 7K gold, that early on in the game is usually something that you think is insurmountable, but because of the differences in composition, it was basically stack armor, deal with these carries, you're able to focus them out. The Lucian build is not going to be doing that much damage. It's focused on if you get attacked, and he didn't even get the solo lane against Maokai. It was the lane swap, so it did definitely put Huni behind, and he didn't have the type of impact that they were hoping that he would have on that Lucian.
Yeah, speaking of damage, the statistics, the end game statistics around total damage dealt kind of showcase that point. We see here Huni only having 19.7K. Hanser, who's not shown, had almost 19K himself. So the fact that your top ADC Lucian is doing only as much damage as a tank Maokai and doesn't have the same utility and ability to absorb and start damage and start fights is super relevant.
And that's a big point too, because when you have triple AD carries by nature, unless they're Ashe and a little bit Jhin, don't have utility built into their kits, something that can peel, something that allows you to change the landscape of a fight in your favor and kite. So they really relied on Reignover and Adrian's utility, but when you're relying on those two people who basically have 2 or 3 utility between their 4 abilities, then, well, they have to land those abilities perfectly. They have to use them at the right time. The barrel has to be perfect. And Yellowstar's Braum was on point, blocking damage, blocking barrels, making sure that they weren't able to use the utility appropriately.
Yeah. It's a lot easier to play team fights when there's only few skills you have to be careful of. So they have 3 damage dealers. Yeah. Okay, so just don't get hit by Gragas, don't get CC'd, and we're going to win because they can't kill our tank.
Yeah, let's jump into one of those replays. One of the big fights that turned things around for TSM about 30 minutes into the game. A 3-0 plus Baron on the back end. Loco, walk me through this and help me understand exactly that point you were just making.
So once Hanser is in the front and they have to try to melt Hanser, TSM's gonna be able to win almost any kind of fight. They just don't have the damage to melt Hanser. And then now Huni dashes in and Hanser goes in. And here, even with all the defensive tools Huni has by buying Death Dance and Phantom Dancer, it's not as effective if you're not being able to auto because you're just getting CC'd to death, and that's what's happening. So TSM has an actual front line in Hanser, and IMT really doesn't, because if Raynor is just in the front getting hit, he can't engage, he's just like a dumb tank. Like when you have dumb tanks that are just getting hit and getting killed, like you're gonna lose the team fight.
Yeah, and it looked like IMT were trying to pick that fight very heavily. We saw Huni try to dash in at the top, and then he dashed in on the left side too. And Wild Turtle had actually used Curtain Call for the pick potential there to slow people down. But you never want to stack your AD carries right on top of each other. That goes with double AD carry and triple AD carry. You never want to do that.
You want to fan out and like a nice fan so all of them can help each other, and even if they go on one person, your other two ADs are safe.
Yeah, it's a little strange too, because then the mantra E from Karma, you don't get everybody in it if they're fanned out. So it's like you have to be just close enough for that, but just far away enough that you aren't screwing your own partner.
A fantastic comeback win for TSM to start off the series. When we come back, we'll see if Immortals will tie up the series or TSM will extend their lead. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
I Hear Myself by Kendrick Lamar. Don't know that song. I hear myself. You don't know that's not how the song goes. Is that how the song
I
goes?
hear myself.
Is that what he says?
No, it's not.
On towards Potter will not take
nice
damage.
block.
And Raynor!
Oh my god, he got right in front of
I got Kalisa.
Nice.
There's only Malphite.
Slowly, Malphite. Kill Malphite first.
I've got Lulu. Nice fight.
Lucian. Gragas. We win this. We might win this.
He's hexed. Go Bjergsen with another kill. And TSM are still running forward. The route in on a Gragas. Make that 3 in a row for TSM. Svenskeren gets 2 more. It's only a 1 man left alive. Huni could not win this by himself.
And they come from behind and take game 1.